Artists see the world just a little differently than most people. It's their interpretations of the world and what they see that draw us in, that make us feel something we might not have felt otherwise. And Curt is a master at this, quite literally. I first met Curt Walters at his home in Sedona, Arizona. I drove down from Farmington with his sister, Jerry Seaton, to stay for a few days. He was an amazing host and made me feel like family in his wonderfully comfortable home. I learned something during that visit that I still feel every time I see Curt. He views this world in which we live with as much admiration as his worldwide collectors admire his paintings. His home, his personality, his art, his love of the things he paints, his mind and his emotions are all wonderfully woven into the canvas on which his life is painted, and it's a lovely thing to experience. Curt has been named the greatest living Grand Canyon artist, the King of the Canyon, and one of the 8 true masters of Western art. He's just won yet another Buyer's Choice Award at the annual Prix de West exhibition at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. He's here in Farmington for a few days taking care of some business. I'm going to give him a short break, have some coffee, and listen to him explain life through the eyes of a master artist. Want to see how it goes? Come along for the ride in Ken's Think Tank. With Curt's notoriety, he has been interviewed a ton of times. But just like all the rest of my guests, he has never been interviewed on a talk show that was conducted in a truck. That's right. I got my truck at 505 Motorsports. They gave me a killer deal. Go by there and see them. They'll give you a great deal too. We're ready for coffee?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Look how pretty your truck is.
I know! I cleaned it up just for you.
Thank you.
I spent hours and hours cleaning it.
You spent hours and hours. You did not. You waited in line down at... Where'd you go?
I would take it to Blue Diamond Auto Spa.
See.
Yeah. So I took it over there. And they cleaned it for me. So I didn't actually take very long at all.
Oh, it looks very nice. Looks great.
I'm picking you up from your sister's house, Jerry. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And because you actually don't live here, you live in Sedona.
Sedona, Arizona.
Anybody that knows you knows that. But you're up here.
There's no one in Farmington as I am. So.
You're up here taking care of some business, but there's a funny story about you kind of getting a start in art at the early point in your art career that has to do with Jerry. That we actually need her because you know how she embellishes stories.
Yeah, I know. I had an interview person. I know what you're getting at. I had an interview one time, and the lady said, "Well, I understand you started your life in art as a felon."
Yeah.
And so the story is really truth, which is that Jerry got a paint set. I was about 13, and Jerry got a paint set for her birthday present or Christmas present.
Right.
I'm not sure. And so I fiddled around and watched her try and paint for a few days. Finally, I said, "Just give me the damn thing, would you please?" Here, give it here.
Yeah.
Let me show you how to do it. So she's accused me of stealing the paint set.
So you stole a paint set from her and allegedly. You're never convicted of that.
And we're talking about Jerry Seaton.
Right.
She's been farmed a long time.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who she is. So,
of course.
So
yeah.
up here, I am Jerry's brother.
Right.
And
Jerry's brother.
And in Sedona, I am Brandon's father. So I have to leave town to get to have my own identity.
Where you don't have some relative that you belong to.
Yeah, I know.
And you can be the world-renowned artist that you are. Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. What can we get started for you?
What would you like?
I'll have like a 12-ounce latte. That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good. Hot.
12-ounce latte?
12-ounce latte?
Yeah.
And that's hot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hot, please.
And
Can I get a name for that?
Curt.
Curt?
Uh-huh. And a 16-ounce mocha.
Mocha?
Hot. No whipped
Hot as
cream.
well?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Long time no see.
I know.
Oh my God, Ken, you know everybody.
So you ended up, so you lived here, and you lived up on the La Plata, and
I grew
up on there.
I grew up in the La Plata Valley.
Yeah.
My father was a dentist. He was the second dentist in Farmington. He had his practice on Apache Street, and so it was a very small town back in those days.
Right.
And it was good for him. It was very good for him to move to Farmington. And shortly around 1960, my parents moved to the La Plata Valley, and I actually still, I and my siblings still own all of that original farm.
Right.
And so it's really a stunningly beautiful place. It's really quite beautiful.
A life as a painter. I mean, you've really lived an entire life as a painter.
Yes, my entire life. I've made a living my entire life doing it. I sold my first painting when I was 14 years old to the neighbor down the street.
Yeah.
And it was $15. And that was an outrageous amount of money back in those days when you were getting $1 an hour wages.
Right.
And I'm going like, oh wow. Hey, that's more money than I can make looking hay all day long.
Exactly.
And which you have to pick. Used in those old days, you had to pick every bell up and move it individually.
Right.
And although I looked great, it was a nasty job. And so I'm going like, oh wow, man, I can paint a painting and like, I have money for a date. This is cool. This is cool. Because artwork is always emotional, and you always pick up.
Yeah.
It's always emotional,
right?
And it always reflects what's going on in your life around you.
Yeah.
And what you feel like you should be trying to say, and they never reach that point. But when you look at them 10, 20 years later, you go, oh, wow, God, that's really good. How did I do that? How did I do that?
When you finally separated from that particular emotional experience that you're going through at the time.
Last year they did a retrospective for me at the Museum of Northern Arizona, and there were 35 paintings spanning the last 30 years. And I walked in that room, and Ken, I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. I mean, it blew me away. And I was like, wow, who did these paintings?
Wow.
Because they were they really were, it was really awesome. Because these paintings leave your life, and you don't see them again. They find collectors, or they go to museums, or they go somewhere. A lot of paintings have gone overseas. A lot of paintings have gone to Japan and Germany and Australia and all kinds of places. And so you don't ever see those paintings again. But when they come back to you, it's kind of amazing. Yeah, it really is amazing.
Like long lost children.
They are kind of like children. I used to hear artists say that when I was young, and I think, God, that's nuts. It's just nuts. But it's really kind of true, actually. Yeah. I can tell you that I've realized now, and this is the thing that this is kind of a heartbreak of my youth, which is that I'm very, very dyslexic, and so school was very difficult for me. It was very hard. And so getting through high school and going to college classes, which, by the way, I did make the dean's list, but it was difficult. It was hard for me to do that. Yeah. And so and I still twist letters and numbers and stuff. I mean, that's kind of what I do. And so that is always a factor behind what I've done in my life.
Do you think in some way the dyslexia is a part of actually tied to part of what you do or how you do what you do as an artist?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You just see things differently.
I think it's a big part of it, and I've discovered that dyslexia was always sort of hidden and never talked about, and something to be ashamed of growing up, and even way into my adulthood, did the best you could to cover it up. Right. And so I was sitting at a table back at the Autry at Masters of the American West show. I'm talking about best of the best of the best artists in the United States.
Right.
And I'm visiting with these guys, and I said, I'm dyslexic. And they said, me too.
Me too.
Me too. Me too. And so there were 8 of us.
Wow.
Who are, and they all said, now, these are the top of the top. And they all said, yes, Curt, we understand.
Yeah.
You know?
So bells started going off at that point, right?
It was kind of it was a major eye-opener. Seriously, it really was. I fell in love with the Grand Canyon, believe it or not, when I was 19.
Yeah.
And so I decided I was painting. I wanted to paint Grand Canyon, and I was doing. I was painting then, and so I just graduated high school, and so I had this orange car. It was awesome. It was Dad got me a car for graduation, and it was kind of like a bribe to stay home and go to college, and so, which was the real truth. And so I had this great car. I had no job. I had no money. So we scraped up. So I was bussing tables down at Curts. If anyone might remember that, it was a long time ago. So in the morning, I'd go down and bust tables and make a few extra dollars.
Yeah.
You know? And so so I took my $10 in quarters, which was enough to pay for gasoline to go to Grand Canyon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And so off we go to Grand Canyon, and Connie and I go over there, and it was just beautiful. And I said, Connie, here, let's hike to the bottom, like all, like the first time,
Right.
And so I get her down to Indian Gardens, and she says, ain't doing that. And so I hike on out to Plateau Point, and I see Plateau Point, and then we hiked back out, and she was the most unhappy camper on the way back. but then I tried painting up there on the ground, and that painting was just terrible. It was so bad, and it made me so angry that I couldn't paint that thing in front of me. And so it just became a mission for me.
Right.
It was like there was a moment. It was that moment when I said, "This is what I want to do. I want to learn how to paint that." And so consequently, I started seeking out those artists that knew how to paint it. It was part of the reason for my move to Taos.
Okay.
It directed my move to Sedona. I mean, Grand Canyon really has directed my life.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Art of the West has named you the greatest living Grand Canyon artist, right? So I guess you figured it out finally, right? You just won again, best of show. Is that what it was?
No, it was the
buyer's choice.
I had a really large painting at the Prix de West show at the National Cowboy Museum in Oklahoma City, and it was the largest painting there, but Great Big Grand Canyon, and it won Buyer's Choice Award.
Right. Okay.
It's called the Jackie Coles Award. But anyway, it was voted by the buyers the best painting in the show, which is very cool. And which, by the way, I've won that 6 times.
More than anybody else, right?
More than anybody else. So yeah, it's true.
It's because you're the man.
Yeah.
You travel around the world with easel in hand and paint as well.
I've painted a lot of places.
You had a funny story about setting up camp kind of in a dumpster in order to be where you wanted to be to paint what you were trying to paint.
Well, it was in Paris, I mean, Paris love their artists. They love artists. So and this is the first time I went to Paris, and so I just turned. It was my 40th birthday, and I gave myself a birthday present. And I moved, and so I went to Paris for 2 months, and so I painted almost every day. And so we found this great apartment right at on the left bank, near the Eiffel Tower. And so I was on the last day I decided that I wanted to paint that street
Yeah.
And all those little shops that I'd gotten to know, and those people I'd gotten to know on that street.
Yeah.
And so the only view that was right in the way, right perfectly going down the center of the street, there was a big dumpster. It was a waist-high dumpster.
Yeah.
It was right there. Well, it was a Sunday, and so I didn't think anybody would bother me, so I just crawled into the dumpster and started painting. Yeah. And so the Parisians would come by and scratch their head and say a few French words, and off they go. And then finally, this construction guy comes down, and he's got an armload full of trash, and so he just says a few words, says his stuff on the ground, and so he does this all afternoon until I finish the painting. Yeah.
Did you ever figure out what they were saying?
No, not a word. Not a word.
And so you've not only, I mean, of course you're extremely well known for painting the Grand Canyon, but you've got some other amazing works.
I do all kinds of stuff
that you've done.
I do everything. I believe that an artist should be able to paint anything well, and that's what I mean. Seriously, anything well.
Right.
And so, and I believe that wholeheartedly. And so, I am not afraid to tackle any subject anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
I will try it. If it's in front of me and I have the paint set and I have the time, I will paint it. It doesn't matter where I am. There's always something beautiful to paint everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. If you just look, people.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing is people get crazy busy and they're just blasting through life and not really looking.
Oh, I've seen hundreds of things to paint already. Just our little drive around. I mean, it's beautiful. Right now, the monsoons are stunning up here. They're just beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And over the years, I have painted a lot of skyscapes across the reservation. Up in Farmington. I actually have done several paintings in Farmington over the years. Look here in front of us.
Exactly.
These amazing cumulus clouds and the beautiful light. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's totally amazing. This is my old dad's dental office right
There it is. Right there.
There it is. Right there.
The old dental office. Yeah.
What is it? This is like a trip down memory lane. Oh, but I used to live, there was a house right here on this corner. And it was my first art classes right there in this corner. There was a little house right here. So right here, 113 North Wall. That's where I had my little cottage. And look at this. It looks little house, cute. Still cute.
You're the cool brother.
They would protest, but yes.
Of course, that's how it works.
I mean, I used to go in the art supply store, and I'd be in my brushes and my little paints and trying to figure this stuff out. And these master artists would come walking in the door, and they would just be, oh my God, they would be so busy. They would just be so nervous, and they'd be so beside themselves. And they'd grab up their paint, and they'd run to the counter, and they'd rush out of the way, and it was like, and they're going, I gotta get my paint. Let me get the hell out of here. I gotta go. And Ken, I'm worse than that now. Yeah. So I understand now that
what was going on back then.
That gravity of mind to go and just like your focus is in art, and you don't want to be bothered with stuff.
Right.
And going to the art supply store is a nuisance.
The minutia of it.
Oh
yeah,
for sure. So I really do kind of understand that I've turned into that old conscious guy. Get out of the way.